Hi everybody, and welcome once again to the Millcreek Government Channel. It's Channel 9 and I'm Phil Fatika, and this is a magnificent setting we are in. This is Veterans Park. It's located at the intersection of Love and Zimmerly Road. You've got to come here and visit and see what's going on. You won't recognize it. To tell us what's going on is Jim Sperry, Director of Recreation and Parks. Jim, we're here on the best day, of course. It's
not
just
a bad day.
You don't want to go to work, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful fall day.
Well, let's go back a little bit. It's called Veterans Park. It was dedicated back in November of 2011, but before that, it was what?
We referred to it as Cassidy Park,
okay.
To the owners of the land, and it was a private campground since the 1950s until right around 2000.
Yeah, and a lot of our viewers will recognize this as the campground here, but it is undergoing some changes because you have to, right?
Right. When we acquired the property, which was around in 2007, we got a grant for $162,000 to help acquire the property. We had a lot of work ahead of us. There was a house that was on the property.
When you say property, how many acres would that be?
We have 5 acres up front, and then 17 acres on the other side, on the south side of Walnut Creek that meanders through the park.
That's all part of.
It's all part of the plan.
22 acres. Wow.
Yeah. Right now we're emphasizing development on the front part, the 5-acre part.
Okay. And that's where we are here. We're right down at the Walnut Creek right here, and.
Yeah,
just a great day. So you were saying
it's a beautiful setting here. I mean, but we had to do a few things, and people may have been driving by here and not seeing a whole lot, but they're going to notice a lot in the next year. But what we had to do is we removed the house, which was a lot of work. We had to remove the old barn. We thought about keeping it, but it was just beyond repair and a lot of money if there was a chance that we could repair it. So we removed the house, we removed the old barn. We removed a shed, a storage shed, a trailer area that they had. We had back restrooms in the back, which were no good. So we had a lot of work just to clear this out and to make it safe.
Get ready to go forward.
To move forward.
I assume you have a master plan. This isn't a, gee, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do next month?
Right. That was after the acquisition. That was the next step, to put together a master site plan. We hired a landscape architect. We put together a little study group of people in the community, various people in the community, to sit down, and we had about 4 or 5 meetings to go over of what we really felt we wanted to do here and what would be best for the community here. And we've done that. We got our master site plan. Basically, what we're calling for is to put in some parking and some roads in a recreation area, a picnic shelter. Down the road, we'd like to put a bridge that would provide access to the other 17 acres of the park. We've acquired, I think right now, 6 grants in the last 4 years, probably close to $500,000 just on what we've done to date. We made the standing garage a restroom, a handicap restroom that's open 24/7, 12 months out of the year. That was a grant from the Fish and Boat Commission and the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. So we have a restroom here that's for the fishermen that they can use.
Which I would assume would be almost mandatory. When your plans are that far forward, you have to have restrooms on site.
Right. I mean, we want fishermen to come here.
Right.
We want people to come here. Right now, they need a facility. So we did that with a $40,000 grant. Right behind us, we got a grant from the DEP, Environmental Protection, to put up some plantings and trees in the riparian buffer zone here. So we planted 22 trees along the stream bank here. We got another grant from the Fish Commission to provide a $30,000 grant to provide bank stabilization. They put and fish habitat, and they have around 13 of these. I call them little jetties that stick into the stream. That they are drilled in, rebarred into the shale, and it collects food for the fish, and it's also a bank stabilization too. So we have this in place.
Yeah, because we are about, well, maybe as the crow flies, mile and a half or so from the lake. Maybe, of course, as the stream meanders, it's much more than that.
Right.
But that would be an anticipation that this is going to turn into perhaps a better fishing area than it was.
Right.
It's a long haul for the salmon.
But there are fish here. We were here last year. Yeah. Brian McGrath and I, the supervisor, we came up and they were hitting, and they're up here.
They are.
Those jetties that I said also are to push the water towards the middle of the stream more, yeah, to provide holes possibly.
Yeah, and I know that that's a real issue with the conservation department, is that preservation of the banks, because they're just eroding and the stream is collapsing and everything's being carried away, and that was a really wonderful thing. Yeah.
The Fish Commission came in and strategically placed the jetties that they put in, and so that should stabilize the banks.
Yeah. Now, the day that we're taping this, there is some very heavy equipment in here moving some stuff around, and you told me that you have the water and sewer that is coming in that's going to be stubbed, and what do you mean by that?
Right. We had nothing in here, Phil, so we had to bring in water, which was fortunate. It's right on Love Road out here in Zimmerly Road. So we brought in water, we brought in sewer, we brought in electricity. So that's already in here up to this building, the first building that we did.
And prefatory is that, repeating, Jim, that was not here.
Nothing was here.
Nothing was here.
Nothing was here.
Okay.
So we brought in the utilities, and now we're running the utilities back to where the picnic shelter is going to be, hopefully starting construction in the spring. We did that now, so we brought sewer and water and electric to the back part where the picnic shelter is going to be. So they're doing that today.
This is all part of a master plan. Does it also not just involve Veterans Park, but does it involve any of the other parks that people are very familiar with? Asbury is huge, you name them.
Yeah, well, we have community parks. We have Asbury, we have Scott, we have Bell Valley, we have Zook. But this is, the master site plan is specific to this park, right? And right now is an exciting time. We just acquired 2 more grants from DCNR, and we're doing them simultaneously. We have a
DCNR is the
Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Pennsylvania. We've got a $105,000 grant, which makes the total project cost around $210,000 for stormwater management and roads and parking.
Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean stormwater? Why doesn't it just run off?
Well, it did for 50 years, but now we have ordinances here in the township, and we have to provide where water can run off properly.
Okay.
So we are doing that, and that is what's going on right now. That's going to be done this fall. In the spring, we're going to finish up the roads and parking, and then we're also going to do our next grant, which we have for $205,000, which is a picnic shelter. And it's going to be a beauty. It's a nice one. Yeah.
I think we're going to talk to Brian McGrath about that shortly, but Jim, how do you get these grants? I mean, you just don't go say, I want the grant. There's a lot of heavy lifting on these grants to get that money. It's just, they just don't go.
Very politely heavy lifting.
You guys are nice people.
I would call it pain something.
Here's $250,000, you know. How does that process work?
It's not bad. It's, you have to apply. We've done the right thing. First, we got the master site plan. When you have an approved master site plan that the state helped fund for you, that's so they know that we sat down and we put together a master site plan. So now basically what these grants are is we're applying what we want done through the master site plan. So that helps immensely too. Yeah, because they know we're serious and we're moving along. And so you have to apply. There's an applying, a period where you apply, and you do what they say in the grants and all the criteria, and you submit it, and you hope for the best. And so far, things have been going great. So it's a fun time here. I think there's been people here that have been really using the park, so people are starting to know about it. But within the next year, I'm just going to tell the people that they're going to start to see a lot of changes here, a lot of activity going on.
Well, under your leadership and guidance of putting this through, it is very successful. In fact, the day that we're taping, people are walking their dogs, and that's always occurred, of course, but they're walking the dogs, and as you said, fishermen are here, and the park has the accessibility of the facilities, which can be really wonderful, because people don't like to come someplace and find a tree. That's not what they want to do. So our hats are off to you for improving this park here.
Well, it's been a lot of work by a lot of people, but it's a lot of fun, and that's what I do. And the township supervisors are very supportive, and we're lucky that we live in the community that we live in.
Well, speaking about the Millcreek supervisors, joining us now is Millcreek supervisor Brian McGrath, who has a real strong interest in this particular area. Under his leadership and the other supervisors, Mr. Kuyaba, Mr. Fagaski, they've managed to really turn this Veterans Park into something that you're going to really, really love. Again, the day we're here, they are doing some stuff with some big heavy equipment back up in there, because that's eventually going to lead to a great place that is going to be very similar to what's on the peninsula, the Rotary pavilions that are there. That sounds great. Tell us about that.
We have some big plans for what's in the, what we call it, the southern portion of the property. Picnic pavilion that will include, well, a food preparation area, not necessarily a full kitchen, at least not at the initial stages, but an indoor area for picnicking, and then an exterior area for picnicking, and then additional restrooms. So it'll be about a 30 by 72 structure. I think it'll hold probably about 100 people.
That's big.
It's pretty good size. It's pretty good size. Yeah, very similar to what's at the peninsula at the Rotary Pavilion. Maybe not quite as extensive as that, but a food preparation area with sinks and so forth. And I think that the folks it'll be an ideal place for someone to hold a family reunion or a birthday party, or just to get a group of people to come up and enjoy the outdoors, because this is going to be fantastic.
I'll brag a little bit about Millcreek Township here. The latest CNN Money magazine was again very complimentary toward Millcreek, and you can brag on that. And I would love to think, and I think I'm right, they look at this and they go, yeah, this is the reason why you are a desirable community in which to live. One
of the reasons, of course, the peninsula is huge. But we do have, I think, a very, very good park system. Jim may have mentioned we have Scott Park, we have Zook Park, we have Asbury Park. Those are our big ones. We have several neighborhood parks, and those are improving. This is our latest addition that we purchased only about 5 years ago, and it's big. It's about 23 acres. Walnut Creek meanders through it. It's ideal for someone, again, picnicking, wanting to walk a dog, wanting to go for a hike, just to enjoy the outdoors.
The day that we're taping here, I mentioned earlier with Jim that people are walking their dogs up and down the stream, and they're just enjoying it. And parking right now there's a little place, but that's going to improve, I would assume.
Yes, part of the overall plan is for additional parking. I think the plan right now is to have about 60 spaces. That is going to require some work next year. We're doing the preliminary work this year. We're going to be doing some stormwater management, which is required. We're going to try to do that this fall, and then in the spring come in and actually do the parking lot work. And then the plan is to eventually next year get the picnic pavilion get started next year.
Now, this does not happen because you just go throughout the leaves here and go, oh, there's the 10 and there's the 5 and there's the 20. Yeah.
No.
How does this happen?
It's overall, I think that Jim said we have acquired in the neighborhood of $400,000 in grants between the acquisition of the property and the picnic pavilion and everything in between. And that, of course, requires a match. So we've had to use some matching funds from the township and a lot of in-kind services. We've done a lot of work ourselves, and we're going to be doing a lot more work ourselves, and that's our part of the match. So yes, it's going to require a great deal of funding, a lot of work, but overall the project, I think, is going to be one of the finest in the area.
Oh, I agree. It's off to a wonderful start. And again, if you've not been here, it's located at the intersection of Love and Zimmerly Road. As they say, you can't miss it. The funding, though, goes only so far, and then you have to somehow say to some people out there who are watching us, and we know you're watching, we need your help. Are you doing that?
We are doing that. We're just in the initial stages of that. We're going to be doing some fundraising. We did it several years ago for the Bell Valley Pool. It was somewhat successful there. We hope to do something similar to that now. We've already received a commitment from LECOM for $25,000, so they're our lead grant in this project, which is tremendous. We're going to be doing some, like I say, some solicitation from local businesses, trying to get some help. We could, of course, use all tax money and our equipment and so forth to handle our match, but if we can get some assistance, it will kind of ease that burden. Another key, I think, to solicitation of funds is the fact that there will be some opportunities for memorial gifts. We'll have a Veterans Plaza. Obviously the name of the park now is Veterans Park. We're going to have a Veterans Plaza. We're going to have the pavilion, opportunities for folks to maybe buy bricks or benches or whatever, where they could name something or place a plaque on there in memory of a loved one. So there'll be that opportunity where I think that people will really enjoy that, come and enjoy nature and the fact that there's a memorial to a loved one.
Something similar, if you go down the foot of State Street, the community really kicked in with a lot of names
Yes.
and a lot of bricks there to help defray the cost.
Very similar to that.
And it really, in my opinion, people buy into it and feel ownership of it then.
Oh, you see it a lot of places now. You go to PNC Park and there's the same idea. Obviously this will be at a smaller scale, but the same idea. And I think that people, like you say, they buy into it, they actually have a sense of ownership of the property.
Now this property, if you have to come and see it, it kind of lends itself towards people who are athletically inclined. You definitely would like to walk it. Can you run it? Let's take those two. Can you bike it?
Well, again, in our long
pedaling.
Right now, no. There are no real. I suppose if you were the mountain bike inclined to that, you could do that. Eventually, part of our next phase after the picnic pavilion, the next phase would actually be putting a bridge across Walnut Creek, similar to at Asbury Park, where you'll be able to access the rear portion, the southern portion of the property. There's about a third of the property that's easily accessible on the northern portion before Walnut Creek kind of bisects it. On the southern portion, there's more property, more hilly, but we anticipate being able to put some walking trails over there, accessible with this bridge that we're talking about. So that'll be the next phase down the road.
So we're not looking for snowmobile races here?
No.
Okay.
No, the very...
You're going to be a good neighbor.
We're going to be very good neighbors. Our parks, I kind of kid Jim sometimes that he rules his park system with an iron hand. He wants to make sure that things are well controlled, and they are. We have very few problems, if any, in our parks as far as loud parties or anything like that. So we're very good neighbors, and we anticipate this to be just the same. We have a lot of picnic pavilions throughout the township in our various parks, and they're very popular. They're more or less just shelters right now, just a roof over a bunch of picnic tables. But they are very popular. People rent them out on a regular basis. We anticipate this being just the same.
When we walk down here, we sitting right on the banks of Walnut Creek, you go by some really magnificent trees here that have been here way older than I am, I'm sure. And I like the idea that you said you can memorialize people with perhaps a gift of a tree or something, a bush. Are you going to encourage that in the future?
Absolutely. We have planted about 20 trees through the use of another grant, but we'll be planting more trees as needed. We unfortunately do have to remove some trees for the parking and for the trails and so forth. We're trying to do that very sparingly. but we'll have that opportunity for additional trees.
Should be said, and I'm sorry to interrupt, you do have an arborist who says,
Yes.
this is the ones that should go, don't you dare touch those. I mean, it's not indiscriminately coming in with
No.
a yellow can or purple spray can going, yeah, take that one, take that one. It's
We were
clever.
presented with a plan by our engineering firm that did the stormwater management plan and the parking and so forth, and had on the plan the removal of several trees. Our arborist came in and said, boy, we really need to save this tree. That's a big mature walnut, or that's a big mature oak, and we need to hang on to that. So we made some changes. So we are taking that very seriously. We're trying to preserve obviously the natural setting here, and I think that when we're done, people are going to be very happy with having the accessibility, but also having the natural beauty.
Either you and Jim, did you envision the growth taking place this rapidly? Was that part of the plan, that we are scoping this out, that by then we can do? Or, I mean, it's the grant writing that has made this possible.
Yes, it has. It has been about a 5-year process so far, and I think that by the time we get to the bridge and the walking trails, we'll probably be another 5 years into this. But it's been a fairly rapid process from the time we acquired the property, the removal of all the structures that needed to be removed, the picnic pavilion, the parking and so forth. Things have been moving along kind of at a steady pace, one that we're comfortable with, that the taxpayers will be able to handle it. We can handle the additional work that's involved, and it's still at a pace where people are going to see some progress. They're going to realize that when they came here 2 or 3 years ago, this park was somewhat of a mess,
Yes.
but they come up now and it's changed pretty dramatically.
We've got about a minute or two left. I'd like to go back to how people can buy into the park with, you have a big donor on board, sponsored LECOM already, but individually, I can't fork over $25,000, but how could I help out individually, my family or just me? Is there,
At first, we're going to go to local businesses for the larger donors with solicitation letters. Those will be going out shortly, and then we'll actually have some kind of a fund drive where we will do maybe bricks or trees or a combination of both. We haven't really determined that yet, but that will be kind of a fundraising effort that we'll know just where we are as far as how much money we need, and then we can decide just how we're going to go about raising that.
And again, I got to say, and you can say it, CNN Money Magazine has said that Millcreek Township is one of the, well, you tell them.
Well, one of the top 100. We were number 79 a couple of years ago, or 95 this time. Just to make the top 100 is a big honor, and of course we like to think that the parks are part of that reason.
Oh, it is part of that reason. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Thank you to you, and thank you to
Phil.
Jim for joining us today, and thank you to you for joining us. You come up and visit Veterans Park, right at the intersection of Love and Zimmerly Road. As they say, you cannot miss it. Park the car, go for a great walk, and watch what's going to be going on here. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm Phil Fatika. Take care.